It was just another ordinary day for me, a 16-year-old guy. My mom, dad, and little sister were all out, which was a bit odd, but I didn't think much of it. I was actually looking forward to some rare alone time. The morning started off great. I had breakfast and watched YouTube, like I always do. But then I felt it. That eerie sensation of being watched. A chill ran down my spine, and I felt an unsettling coldness. I tried to shake it off, thinking it was just my imagination. As I got up to throw away some trash, I heard it. Loud, deliberate footsteps coming from the attic. Nobody ever goes up there. My heart pounded as I thought, what the hell? Suddenly, the door to my parents' bedroom slammed open with a force that sent a jolt of terror through me. Determined not to be a coward, I peered down the long, dark hallway. I wish I hadn't. At the end of the hallway stood a dark figure with piercing white eyes. It whispered loudly, a cacophony of unsettling sounds. I mustered the courage to ask, "Who are you?" My voice trembled. Without warning, the figure rushed towards me at an unnatural speed. I grabbed my phone and bolted out of the house, diving off the front porch and waiting outside until my family returned. When they finally got home, I recounted everything. They laughed and told me that was why they had left in the first place. To this day, I don't know what that figure was or how it got there, but I will never forget those eyes and the chilling whispers that haunted me. If you hear voices while home alone, run. I was at home. My parents went out to, ironically, get milk and other things, of course. I suddenly heard laughing coming deep from my closet. I thought it was my little sister trying to scare me, so I called out, "Scarlet, I've told you countless times that your tricks don't work on me anymore." I suddenly got a text from my parents. It said, "Your sister is helping us get the groceries so we can get home quickly." My blood ran cold. I quickly scanned the area as I heard it again. "Come on, Chester, I want to play with you in the closet." I quickly jumped out of the bed and ran as fast as I could. I heard a blood-curdling scream as a bang came from my closet. It was chasing me. My heart pounded as each step hurt my chest. It felt like I was about to throw up. I reached my neighbor's house and banged on the door. They opened the door with worried looks on their faces. I explained everything as fast as I could, and they called the cops. The cops arrived and found a naked man in my closet. While they walked out with the man looked at me, and his facial expression is something that will haunt my dreams for the rest of my life. He smiled at me with an almost ear-to-ear smile and mouthed the words, "Good decision." As they put him in the car, I always sleep with a nightlight and never stay home alone. One thing always keeps me up at night, though. What would have happened if I chose to open the closet door? I'm 17, with a terrible sleeping schedule, so I usually never pay attention to the time. Recently fired from my job, I focus on school and play games when I'm free. My brother and mother's comings and goings are a mystery to me. Today was no different, or so I thought. Around 2:30 p.m., I heard my mom call my name, "Noah." Figuring she was on her break, I didn't think anything of it. Normally, she works until 5 p.m., and my brother is either gaming or out fishing. When I went into her room, she was at her desk, typing away on her computer. "How are you doing? Will you go check on your brother?" she asked. Her request was odd because my brother and I don't get along, but I shrugged it off and went to check on him. In his room, I found him asleep. That was unusual. He never naps during the day. I nudged him with my foot and asked if he was okay. "Yeah, I'm good," he mumbled. Satisfied, I returned to my room and yelled back, "He's doing fine." I immersed myself in my games until my phone buzzed. It was my mom. Confused, I thought. It has been roughly 20 minutes since I talked to her. What does she need now? She said they had been out running errands and wanted to know what I wanted for dinner. Panic set in. "So, was that not you or Gabe that I talked to a few minutes ago?" I stammered. "No. Are you okay?" she replied. My blood ran cold. The room seemed to close in on me. I locked my door and readied my window for escape. Suddenly, scratching and banging filled the hallway, followed by my name being screamed in my mom's voice. Noah, Noah, Noah. I disregarded the bug screen and plunged headfirst into the semi-dead bush outside, sprinting to my neighbor's apartment. When the police arrived, they found nothing amiss. My mom insisted everything was exactly as she left it hours before. Shaking, I recalled the unsettling details. My brother had no face, and my mom's eyes were hollow, pitch-black voids. This was only a week ago, and I don't think I will ever get over it. Each night, those black eyes haunt my dreams, and I wonder what other horrors lurk behind familiar faces. I was 18 and still living at my parents' place when we decided to move to a new home. One night, I awoke to knocking on my door and my mother's voice telling me to get up. It was time for work. The issue? It was 3 a.m. on a Saturday, and I was home alone. Our house, built in the late 90s, was a single-floor structure with a basement. My family had lived there for 18 years. I had 3 sisters and 4 older brothers. My brothers and I occupied the main floor, while my sisters lived in the basement. At that point, I was the only one, aside from my parents, living in the house. The basement had a reputation. My siblings often heard unsettling noises, especially from the storage room in the back corner bedroom. That particular bedroom door would open and close seemingly on its own. My friends and I wouldn't go near it, citing bad vibes. Strange occurrences were common when one of us was home alone. Footsteps, voices, movement in the attic, basic horror movie cliches. Once I heard a door slam in the basement, followed by someone sprinting up the stairs while I was alone. I bolted to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and hid behind the counter. Shadows in corners, the feeling of being watched, and even ankles being grabbed at night were regular events. On the last day of moving boxes out of the house, I decided to stay there alone overnight. My parents, arguably worse than any demon, were miles away. I settled in for a night with my Xbox, a 50 inches flat screen, Marco's Pizza, and a Red Bull. Being paranoid, I checked and rechecked all the locks, including my bedroom door. I fell asleep around 11:30, completely exhausted. Knock, knock, knock. Mom's voice, "Honey, wake up, you're going to be late for work." Groggy and confused, I mumbled, "What? What time is it?" Knock, knock, knock. "Honey, come open the door, you're going to be late." Knock, knock. I got up and walked to the door. As I reached for the handle, a chilling realization hit me. I was home alone. The house was locked up tight. My parents were miles away. "Open the door," the voice insisted. I slowly turned and looked at the clock. It was 3 a.m. on a Saturday. The terror sank in. I backed away, grabbed my Bible, and started praying, "Be gone, Satan." After that, the knocking stopped. Silence filled the house, but the terror lingered. The next morning, I asked my mom why she had come back to the house the previous night. She looked at me, bewildered. She hadn't. I've been laying in bed scrolling through my phone for the past hour. At one point, I heard movement behind my head coming from inside the wall. I pictured some huge rat or bat or maybe even a raccoon was trapped in there, trying to find its way out. I live in a very old house, so there is no new insulation. Plenty of space for a whole family of opossums or who knows what. It's late, nothing I can do about it, so I just put on a video on trying to block out the noise. Still pretty freaked out about the idea of something creeping around in the walls. Why does shit like this only ever happen when you're alone? I thought to myself. I kept hearing more shuffling sounds from behind my head. It didn't sound like claws or bat wings, just soft shuffling. It was getting on my nerves, so I banged on the wall. Something banged back. I sat upright immediately, trying to convince myself I panicked the poor creature, so it slammed into the wall, trying to run away. It's really amazing how easily we can brush things off when we don't want to feel scared. That has to be it, right? Something just ran into the wall when it heard me. That makes sense. Desperately trying to reassure myself. Frozen in place, not sure what to do or think. Damn, I wish I wasn't alone right now. I waited to see if the shuffling sounds came back. Nothing. I finally let myself calm down again, laughing at myself for being so terrified of some poor raccoon in the wall, imagining he's just as afraid as me being trapped in there. I hope he finds his way out. After I felt like enough silence had passed, I put my video back on. I could feel myself drifting to sleep when I heard it. I heard a phone ring, right behind my fucking head. It was only for a second, but that was long enough to realize there is someone hiding inside the wall of my house. That thin wall is the only thing separating them from me. Panic set in so fast I just froze. I went to call 911, but I realized I didn't hear anything moving. Whoever is back there is trying to stay still, silent, hoping I'm asleep and didn't hear their phone. I do not want to let them know otherwise. Hiding under the covers, I texted the police. I've heard that's something you can do, but I haven't gotten a response. I've texted all my friends, my parents, at least half the people in my phone, but it's late, and no one is responding. Where are the damn cops? I thought to myself. I'm trying to stay as silent as possible. I'm too scared to try to run. There has to be someone awake on here. Someone please help me. What the fuck do I do? I got a text alert on my phone, breaking the silence as a massive hand punched through the wall, reaching out for me in the dark. He grabbed me by the hair, yanking me towards him, and he forced his way through the thin wall. I kicked and flailed in desperation, but he was on top of me before I even had a chance to get away. Completely breathless under the weight of him, I realized I was not making it out alive. My vision began to go black as he punched me repeatedly. Fight or flight kicked in, and in a sudden moment of adrenaline, I forced my thumb into his eye, pushing with all my might, until I heard a sickening popping sound. Grabbing his bloody eye socket, he leaned back, giving me just enough time to kick him as hard as I could in his most sensitive parts. He wailed in pain as I ran as fast as I could out the door, screaming for help. My neighbor's porch light turned on, and I banged on the door until she let me in. Covered in scratches and blood, bawling my eyes out, I begged her to call the police. I stayed with my neighbor for the night while the police investigated my house. They found empty food wrappers, bottles full of piss, pictures of me strung up on the inside of the wall, pictures of me while I slept, unaware of the man who had lived in my walls for what appeared to have been months. They never found him. Now, every night, I dream of that hand punching its way through the wall, playing out what might have happened had I not escaped. Every house has its crawl space, or that attic no one ever really goes in. That little space under the basement stairs, or an old wall with just enough space to hide. You never know who might be lurking, creeping around your own home, watching you through a tiny little hole in the wall. You'd never even have noticed. The truth is, there could be someone inside your home right now, but you would never know, unless you suddenly hear a phone ring